Hey everybody, it's Jason with JDO Custom Leather. Making a video on how I make a knife. I had a couple people ask me to make a video on it, and this particular knife, I said I was going to make for myself, but who knows, I might try to sell it. Anyway, here's my design I made. Very simple, just going to be a outdoor knife, something you can take hiking, camping, bushcraft. It's 10 inches long, and it's an inch and a half wide, and I'll be using some 1095 steel. It's 3/16 thick, and it'll be 10 inches by inch and a half wide. And I've got a pair of, I don't know how you say it, wenge wood, wenge, I don't know. I'll go with wenge. Looks really nice. I like it. I'm going to use that. And not sure on the pins. I don't even know if I have the ones I want to use, but we'll see what happens. And give you a quick rundown of my shop. I finally cleaned it yesterday. There was a disaster in here. There's my drill press. It's probably about 50,000 years old. Old school belt in there. My 1x30 sander, made by Delta. It's not too bad. It works with what I need to get done. And this little vise, I did not know it was actually a drill press vise when I got it. I bought it because it was 15 bucks at Harbor Freight, but it works for what I need to use it for. And this dumb little bench grinder, it's pretty horrible actually, but I got a wire brush. I only use it to polish up the blade a little bit. And then if you guys have seen my video, here's my forge, how I heat treat. So the way I'll be making this, it is not, I'm making a knife the way I do it. Doesn't make it wrong, doesn't make it right, everybody makes it different. So those of you who have bought a knife from me, you can see the process. Those of you who are just learning like me, if this gives you any tips or any help, that's great. And at the end of the video, if anyone has any comments or questions or like that, yeah, definitely post some comments. I can always use tips. I'm very limited on what I have here, but it works. And so let's get started. Alright, so I got most of the blade cut out. Just showing you how I do this handle, because you can't take a hacksaw blade and just cut it all the way down that way. So what I'll do is I'll cut, if you can see that, cut a bunch of lines, a bunch of cuts going down that way, and then I'll cut down there. And that way, if it starts to turn, you don't have to worry about messing up an entire cut. You just go section by section, and that works pretty good. But I almost got this cut out, and then we'll start profiling it. Alright, so I got the knife cut out as much as I possibly can. And so we're going to go to the grinder. I'm going to start with 80 grit and just start grinding away till I get the profile I want. Always wear safety equipment. Gloves, mask. You don't want to breathe that crap in. Alright, so I got the blade all somewhat profiled, or at least I got it ground out. I've got this little round sander thing, this small. It was from a Dremel, and I'm going to use that to clean up this right here, make it nice and smooth. Alright, so here's just the finished overall profile. I still got to drill the holes and do the grind, but that little wheel grinds out this area pretty nice and smooth. I don't know how well you can see that. Trying to, oh well, my camera's not the best. Alright, next I'm going to drill some pinholes. Haven't even decided what I want to do with pins yet, so I'll be back with that. Alright, so I decided I'm going to do a brass tube for the back pin, which will, so you can put a lanyard. And then I've just got some 1/8 inch steel rod. I'm just going to put some regular steel pins, probably 3 of them over here. And I already started drilling. Make sure you're, for the 1/4 inch, I'm using one size drill bit above that. I think it's a 17/64. Go one size above, you'll never get the pin in. And make sure your drill press is on the slowest speed. And always use some WD-40 while you're drilling. Alright, so we got the first hole drilled, and the 1/4 inch fits in there. Just enough room. So we can put some glue in there also. So I'm going to drill 3 more smaller holes for the steel pins. Okay. Alright, so I marked my holes approximately where I want them. I think that looks good. I got a 5/32 drill bit. Here's the steel bar I'm going to use. I don't know what it is. It's just steel, but it'll work out okay. And I'm not sure. I think it's 1/8 inch, but I'm not sure the exact width. I'm using a 5/32 drill bit, so I'm going to go ahead and start drilling all 3 of those. Alright, so I got all the holes drilled, and I'm just going to run it through the belt real quick on this side just to clean up the burrs from the holes. Alright, so I'm going to do something I haven't done before and find out whether this works. I'm going to, somewhat like your filing, your spine filing or jimping, I'm just going to use my hacksaw and cut in maybe about 5-6 lines for like kind of a thumb grip or for striking a fire steel. Just going to be some straight lines with the hacksaw. I've never done this before, so I'm going to try it, see what happens, and I'll be back. Alright, so I finished doing that little bit of file work. Try to keep the camera as still as I can. I have to hold it by hand to see this. I think there's like 7 or 8 slots. And that'll make a really good thumb rest. And should strike a fire steel real nicely. I don't know if you can see that. And it came out pretty good the first time I did that. I think that looks pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to start doing the grind. and then it'll be ready for heat treat. Okay, so what I do to get a nice straight grind is I take a permanent marker. As you can see, I colored the entire edge. I saw somebody else do this. Let's see if I can get a better view of it. I don't know if you can see. And then I'll take a drill bit of the same thickness and score it. I don't know if you can see that. Right there it is, a little bit. I'll take a drill bit of the same thickness and you just go along the table and score it. Flip the blade over, do it again just in case, because the drill bit isn't always the exact thickness. Not sure how well you can see that. But anyway, color the edge, then take a drill bit and score it, and you get a nice straight line, so when you're grinding both sides you can keep that straight. Alright, so the way I grind my cutting edge is actually like this. I guess most people do it that way. I actually grind it this way. The amount of space between the knife and the belt kind of helps me keep an angle. For me it's just easier that way, so that's how I do it. Alright, so I think this is ready for heat treat. I've left around 1/16 of an inch. You restart 30 seconds on the cutting edge. You don't want the cutting edge too thin when you're heat treating it, but grind looks pretty good. Yeah, like that spine, so this is ready to be heat treated. I'm going to go eat some lunch and then heat treat it. Hopefully I can, because it's cloudy as heck out here. Pay no attention to my yucky yard. But yeah, I think this looks good. We'll heat treat it and see how that turns out. Okay, one thing I did not show real quick, I went and put my maker's mark on there. You gotta do that before you heat treat it. I just did that a couple minutes ago. I didn't have the camera, so I just wanted to show you real quick. And I'm gonna go heat treat this. So the forge that I use, I have to use outside, and it's raining. That's Oregon for you. You can always count on it to work with you. I'm being sarcastic. Shouldn't take too long to heat treat, maybe like 15-20 minutes. So as soon as I get a window, I'm going to go heat treat it. Alright, well, while I'm waiting for the rain to stop, I am going to start on my scales. I took both scales and I put 2 tiny drops of wood glue in there and clamped them together, so I'm going to shape one side that'll be by the front of the scales where you can't get to once it's on there, so I'm going to start doing that. Okay, so I just did that. That was a 120 belt. I'm gonna switch over to a 320. Smooth it out more and then hand sand it. Alright, so I got my forge set up. My oil and my blow dryer blowing down there. Got the towel over it so it doesn't get wet. And as soon as this starts, as soon as the charcoal starts getting nice and gray, I'll throw the knife in there. I'm going to normalize the knife once, which means I'm going to heat it up red, then take it out and let it cool, and then put it back in one more time, and then quench it. I got the knife in there. It's heating up right now. And I'm just doing this to normalize it. I'm going to take it out and let it cool, and then put it back in after it cools down, and then we'll quench it. Hey, so I just got done heat treating it and quenching it, and I think it came out good. I don't think it worked at all. I can't tell too much. It's still too hot to touch. I did kind of rush through it. I don't remember if I showed every step I did. I did normalize it once and then put it back in red hot and quenched it, and I got on this fire brick right now, so I'm going to let that cool. It should be cool in about 15-20 minutes. And then I'll clean it up, and I'm just going to wipe everything off that I can, and then temper it. Alright, so one last minute thing I just did. My knife is still tempering. I went ahead and made some liners for my scales, and honestly they are just white sheets of plastic. Everyone's always told me I should start using liners. I figured I'd try it. So I just cut them, and I just got the handles. The two scales aren't glued together, they're just compressed so the plastic will glue straight. Flat, I should say. And then I'll have to resand this edge of the scales again. But it's just some thin white plastic, and I sanded them up real good so the glue will stick. And that should come out pretty cool. This should be done probably about by the time the knife is done tempering, and I'll sand this and we'll get going with the handle. I'll have to clean up the knife first though. I'll have to re-sand everything and bring it out nice. Okay, so the knife is done tempering. I think I left it in there for about an hour and 45 minutes. And now I'm gonna run this back on the grinder and clean it all up. Alright, so I got a lot of this cleaned up. Just went over the 120 belt and then the 320. And I'm going to do this, the grind last. I got the spine looking pretty good. And I think I'm going to keep this scarring on here. I'm going to take it to my bench grinder with the wire brush and polish it out. I re-drilled the holes to get the carbon out. I took the hacksaw to the spine to get the carbon out, and I'm going to take it to the bench grinder and see how that works. Alright, so I just got done with this on the bench grinder with the wire brush, and I think it came out pretty cool. It's hard to see in the glare, but I'm just going to do this grind and then see how it looks keeping the scarring on there. I think it'll look pretty cool. Alright, so I'm going to go put some scales on this. I like it. I like the scarring on there and the nice grind. Camera is kind of hard to tell, but I'll definitely be taking some pictures when I'm done, and it'll be at the end of the video so you'll be able to get a better look at it. But yeah, I like it. I'm going to go slap the scale on one side and start gluing it. Alright, I'm kind of not skipping steps here, not filming much because I don't have much time left today. But here's one scale gluing on. And once that dries, I'm going to drill through the holes and then glue the other side on. And then drill through that, glue in the pins, and so on. I don't know if I'm going to finish this tonight, but the rest of this video might be kind of short, but I'll do as many steps as I can. Alright, so this one set of scale is dried for now, enough, and I'm going to drill the holes out and then clean up some of the edges, and then we'll glue the other one on. Alright, so I got this one cleaned up just a little bit. Got all the holes drilled and sanded it a little bit, and I'm going to glue the other scale on. Alright, so I got all the pins in. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping through steps here, not filming every step, but I got all 4 pins. And once this dries, then time to finish up the handle and then sharpen the knife. Add some oil to everything and it'll be done. Alright, so this is all glued up. It's time to start shaping it. so got most of the handle done on the sander, and then I'm going to do some hand sanding on the vise. Clamp this down on my vise and do some hand sanding. Looking kind of cool. Alright, she's all done. I'm going to sharpen her up and then we'll take her inside and oil it. Oil the blade and oil the handle. I'm going to use a used 320 grit belt to get an edge, and then I'll use my leather stropping belt to sharpen it. And now we got the leather stropping belt on there. We'll put a little rouge on there. Alright, so there she is. I don't know how well you can see this. I'll post some pictures at the end. I'll take some pictures of this out in the morning when the sun's out so you can get a better view of it. But I think it came out pretty good. So it's not crazy sharp. I think it's sharp enough. I'll put a link to my Facebook page and my email if anyone's interested in purchasing this. I actually made this for myself, but I'll probably see if I can sell it first. But there you go. If anybody's got any comments at the end of the video, any tips for me, I welcome it. Keep in mind I am limited to the stuff I have, as you can see in the video. And if this video helped out anybody else, that's great. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.